Bam! True underdog here. Jayson Waller, co-host John LeBlanc, baby. It is Monday. We are towards one of the last Mondays of November. Election is past us. We're looking forward. We're not looking behind us. That's why our eyes are in front, so we don't hurt our necks looking backwards, right? Super excited. How you doing, John?
Doing great today. I am doing absolutely great. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there. Got some bad news over the weekend from a fellow comrade here at POWERHOME Solar, one of the original OGs with us. Been with us over 4 years. Paul McCaleb, rest in peace. We love you, brother. Hopefully you're in a better spot. Shout out to you and your family. Life is short, and he was full of love and inspiration and work ethic. He was one of the few people in the company that had the huevos, the balls, to come straight up and argue with me and negotiate. And he did really well at it. So I give Paul props, but we miss him and it's sad, but we're going to keep his name in. We're actually going to change an award. We're going to announce at the Christmas party. We're going to have, like they got the Walter Payton Award in the NFL. We're going to have the Paul McCaleb Award given out once a year. We're going to talk about the Christmas party. How about that?
That's great. I mean, life was way too short for Paul. You told me the news on Saturday, and it's usually that doesn't hit me as hard as it hit me, but it dropped me to my knees. I was outside, and it dropped me to my knees. I did not believe it. Still don't believe it. But Paul did live his life to the fullest. He spoke what was on his mind. He challenged you. He challenged everybody. He challenged me when I came into the company. He was the first person I got to know really well, and certainly just a solid human being, and certainly going to be missed. I really will miss him.
Absolutely. Yes.
So prayers to him and his family and friends. I know we have some folks inside the company that are going through a pretty rough time right now, myself included, Kenny, Courtney, a lot of those folks. So prayers are sent out.
We love you, Paul. We'll see you again soon, Paul. Now back to the episode, grinding, giving some tips out there. I labeled this episode, if you look up top, Breaking Bad Habits. I don't know what the podcast team will name it after they listen to it. We tend to start one way and then shit happens and we go another way. But whatever it is, I'm going on record saying I think it's going to be called Breaking Bad Habits, but I don't know. So we'll start with that.
What are some, do you have bad habits that you're trying to break, or do you just, are you simply just evolving?
That's an oatmeal cookie. Okay, see that's a bad habit. It's an oatmeal raisin cookie.
This.
Okay, oatmeal raisin cookie right here. Okay, so that's a bad habit that I should, look at this. Uptime caffeine drink, right? I've already had a C4 this morning or whatever it was. Those are bad habits I should stop. I'm choosing not to yet, right? I work out so I can eat what I want, not so I can get in shape. I should switch that. Dude, look, you get muscles like this going to work out, but dude, I told you I got the pool bod from here up. Look, I'll bring it down a little bit for all the people out there. Look, dude, that's prime A right there, baby. I'm in a pool. I'm like, what up? And then I get up. It's like, oh, you got a dad bod. You got that belly. Yeah, that's right. I got that belly. I got that gilf bod. Right?
Can we talk about how at the installer meeting this morning you said your back looks jacked, but your stomach does not?
It didn't look very good. I thought the camera angle was really bad. I was getting screwed over on that deal. I've actually lost. I've cut a few pounds, and then I gained some back and I cut it back. But look, I know what the deal is. Me and my son, he's like, Dad, I want to get in better shape. I'm like, all right, we're going to quit eating after 8. We're going to quit eating junk food. And here I am, day 2. Look, it's hard. I'm not ready to quit yet. I love food. I should have been Italian because I love Italian food and that's straight sugar. But I don't care. I don't need to be the best in shape, okay? I don't need to. That's not good.
What do you need to be the best?
But that's a bad habit. Anything else, anything to inspire people, to lead people, right? But I've had bad habits. I used to smoke from the age of like 15 to 28.
How'd you crack that?
So my youngest daughter, London, was born, and I hated the smell of smoke, and I loved smoking cigarettes, John. I thought it tastes great. I thought it relaxed me. I played a lot of poker in my life. Just smoking just made sense. And It's nasty. And I would come home and my fingers would smell and my jacket would smell. And my wife would kind of give me a hard time like, dude, you smell like ass. You smell like smoke. What's wrong with you? And it never really hit and it started to. And so when you know that you can't stand the smell, it's probably time to quit. So I took Chantix and it took about 6 weeks and I got off. I mean, I went from a pack a day down, and this is 12, 13 years ago, down to nothing. And I mean, I smoke cigars now. I had one last night. I don't inhale. I smoke those, a few here and there. I got a True Underdog cigar. I got a Power Home cigar. And but smoking's gross, and even the vaping's gross. For those out there listening, if you're get rid of that shit. There's no reason for that shit. It doesn't do anything. Also to quit, I had to buy lollipops. I gained some weight. I mean, I went to BJ's or Costco or whatever, and I bought boxes of the blow pops. And anytime I felt like I needed a cigarette, I pop a blow pop in there. Man, my tongue and mouth were raw, like fucking raw, like raw. But it worked. It helped me quit. I went to the gym more and started to gain muscle. I used to be real flabby, and I've got muscle now. I just I've got a six pack. It's just hiding. It's creeping back. It's like, what up? It's staying warm right now. That's all.
Everyone's got one. You just gotta uncover it occasionally, right?
That's right. And you know what? I still have that rule. If you're a dude and you got a six pack, and no offense to you, John, you're a selfish son of a bitch. Okay. You need to be showing your wife and kids more attention.
Dude,
Quit worrying
I
about
don't.
fucking getting abs. Okay. Abs are for fucking people that are insecure and that kid. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
That is so not true. I can see your point. I can see your point.
Dude, think about it. What a selfish prick. You got time to do abs and diet like that? Dude, come on. It's selfish.
It can be
It's
fit.
selfish.
No, it is not. I see your
Selfish.
point. I can see how you would say a lot of men, probably in particular, that have abs are kind of douchebags, and that.
Most are. They think their shit doesn't stink. At least that's what I'm told. I don't know. Dudes don't hit on me that have abs, so I don't know. I can't comment either way.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't have abs, by the way. I mean, I've got they're look.
Oh, I know you don't, but I saw you in your fucking Spider-Man. And some of the listeners and viewers out there, for Halloween, I was going to be Spider-Man. I bought a nice Spider-Man costume and I put it on. First of all, I couldn't get it over my shoulders. I'm like, what the fuck? Wouldn't fit. I'm like, this is weird. And let's just say that it was very inappropriate. And my wife was like, you're not wearing that. And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. But not only was it really inappropriate, like I was, stuffing a snuffleupagus elephant or something. It also was bad because my belly was hanging out. I'm like, this is just not a good look for me. I look like I'm freaking Spider-Man retired and I have a beer problem. And so I'm like, I can't wear this. So I changed my outfit to the Joker. And then here comes John, Mr. Trainer John, walks in with a fucking Spider-Man costume, looking all fit and pretty. I'm like, dude, the fuck, man. I'm glad I didn't wear it. I'm glad I didn't wear it. You made me look bad. And I'd drag you out and drowned your ass in the pool.
I did have to wear like 3 or 4 pairs of boxer briefs. Just
Oh, I'm sure because those things are tight, dude. I felt like it was bad. I was like, this is inappropriate. My wife's like, you can't wear them. I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. It just didn't go good.
with kids running around, it just wouldn't have been great. So
Not good, but you did good. You pulled it off well, a lot better than I could have. So I'm done with the Spider-Man stuff now. Quit smoking. That was a bad habit. Also, when I used to speak, and I hear a lot of people, and no, I'm not going to take any shots at anybody personally, but I know people that work for us that talk, and when they talk, they go um, and and I used to do that. That used to be a habit that my wife and two daughters would make fun of me on. Like, Dad, you're on the. I would get a phone call, John. Bing! I'd be like, all right, sorry, alarms. They're like, yes, we want to get your garage door opener for free installed with the alarm system for blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, it's $1 a day. Where do you live? And okay, well, yeah, I could be there at like 3:30. And I used to do that, and I used to get made fun of. And so when I started doing some of the meetings, some insecurity kicked in. I was 24, 25 years old, opening my own company. People were older than me with college degrees working for me. You got to have confidence, but I struggled with how I spoke. I didn't finish high school. I didn't go to college. I'm raw, baby. I'm raw, right? Real and raw. And I I had to overcome that. And all I did is challenge myself. Every time I did, I get mad. I'd be like, shit, I can't say anymore. And over time, I changed that mostly. Every now and then you hear me go, and I go, stop. And I get mad.
Yeah, it really comes to fruition when you hear yourself speak. It's actually tough to hear yourself speak for those that have.
I don't listen to any of our podcasts ever. Do you?
I didn't know. Yeah, for sure. Especially some of
I
the cool guys.
hate I hate hearing my voice. I hate when my commercial comes on. I hate hearing my voice in a podcast. And then I know I'm going to be my biggest, you know, yeah, dude, I'm going to talk shit about myself. And I don't want to do that. I like to keep it, I love feedback. I love people saying, hey, this was great. Hey, this wasn't. I can handle constructive criticism. I can handle shit talking. I can handle people liking it. I just don't want to beat myself up. Right. And so I try not to listen to it.
Yeah, with my own voice, I can't stand it. But like when you interact with some of the cool guests that we have on, certainly listen to those. But you're and plus the editing and the marketing companies that we have, right? To edit a video of someone that says or ah a lot is so painful. We have to do it here with training with some of our content that we,
Mm-hmm.
and it is like clip snippet after snippet after snippet trying to remove that. So now you can rip off stuff with one go and it's almost
Mm-hmm.
perfect.
Yeah, we never have any issues. We roll ours out. We don't ever have to clean it up. They do a beginning and end, we're done.
Yeah. But do you think it's because so when you had those awkward ums or ahs, like was it your brain processing and now because you can
I
process
was thinking.
information so
Remember when we talked about you bring something up? I got to walk down the library and pull a chapter out and go. I remember that, right? So that's kind of what happened. Is my brain would be thinking of something and piecing it together, and in order to not have dead air, I naturally go. And so you've got to learn to process the information faster, or talk about things while your brain is getting that information, or leave it dead silent. Because when you say it's just not healthy. In my opinion, you struggle with it. It's an insecurity. It's usually people that are insecure that are thinking and they're struggling to get the information out. And we've all been there. I feel like I'm a pretty good speaker. I'm not great. I'm working to be great. I'm pretty good. I have goals, aspirations to be like a Grant Cardone or a Eric Thomas or a Tony Robbins one day. I mean, those are goals of mine, right? I'm nowhere near there, but I think I do really well. And I think that I'm getting there. And I challenge myself to get there by not doing ums or the struggles or, one of the things I know I do, I've got family that critiques me. I regurgitate and pound in the same message over and over and over again, which is something I need to work on of saying when I'm done with something, move to the next issue. But I like to make sure nobody missed what I was saying. I like to make sure that nobody was left behind, that we can, spin it back up and everybody gets it. So we're still on the same steps. That's all.
yeah, and I think that falls into the category of just being a really clear communicator, right? It's better to hear it 10 times than zero. And I think there's a lot of the same message that I even hear just because of the meetings that I'm pulled into, the interaction I have with you. And I was like, I've heard this 8 times, but it does help, right? And when you're trying
Yep.
to get an organization on the same page, you have to do that.
You're right.
So
You're right. The other bad habits I think that, I struggle with is, and I've done pretty good, is losing my cool on the director's call sometimes. I used to be really bad. I went really good for a while. And then recently I kind of got a little fired up again. I just feel like some people get too complacent. And, today's install meeting, I was pretty rough on those in the red and the pink. And for the listeners and viewers out there, our production team is paid on not only hourly and overtime or salary, they get bonused on quality versus quantity. And so for those that just install a lot but have service issues and they're not doing their job, we want our customers to have an experience like no other. We want the product to be above everything they've ever gotten. We want our service team to be the best they've ever seen. They walk out, they're like, wow, I want to refer them to somebody. When we're not hitting perfection or very close to it, that's bad. And so we decompensate them. It is a bonus, but they don't earn it. They lose a high percentage or all of it if their services catch up to their installs on the percentage. And so it's very important that we've leveraged. I'm a big believer as an entrepreneur that when you play with somebody's money, when their money is affected on their job performance, not just clocking in and clocking out, but them actually doing their job. Think of football, all the listeners and viewers out there and all the salespeople or anybody running a company. When you're running a football team, yeah, they get a salary and they get a contract, but they got bonus incentives, right? I throw X amount of touchdowns, I get more. I make the Pro Bowl, I get more. I win a playoff game, I get more, right? That's what I get. I try to build and develop that for most of our leaders and a lot of our positions that are on the forefront with customers that actually have an impact of what that customer thinks about us or their experience with us or the quality of what they're doing or the integrity or their volume. All these things are tied to that is their bonus or lack thereof. And so a bonus is a bonus. You still get paid to do your job, but you're not going to get a bonus if you can't close out. If your service calls are too many compared to your installs, why would we bonus you? You're half-assed doing installs, right? Why would we're not. And I'm a big believer. People don't like it. We talk about it all the time, 80-20. I like to terminate, fire, replace, whatever you want to call it, 20% of the staff every month. And people say, man, that is wrong. That is mean. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not. Okay. If you line up 10 people in your office right now for my listeners and viewers, or 100, I guarantee 2 out of the 10 or 20 out of the 100 don't deserve that job. Take you and your company for granted. They're holding everybody else back. They're cancerous. They don't perform well. It's not worth it. You have to replace that 20% to keep the best all the time. You want to have the best starters on the court. You want to have the best bench possible. You can't make excuses. And if you're in it for everybody, then you can't let that 20% hold everyone else back. And so that's something I challenge myself all the time to make sure we expose. These ones aren't doing their job. They need to know. We're not going to hide in a corner. I didn't do my job and I get to sit here and celebrate and be successful with you guys. No, you don't. No, you don't. You slowed us down, dude. That's what you did. You slowed that guy that got in the green. He did 100% down. Why? How dare you slow him down? Why don't you look in the mirror and fix that for the next time? Because I'm sick of our top people carrying the bottom people. That's how it is. This isn't goodwill. This isn't school. This isn't pay to play. We pay you to do a job. You get 100% of your check. You got to have 100% effort. You got to have 100% skill set. And that's what's frustrating is some people think in today's world, they're entitled to gimme, gimme, gimme. That's bullshit. Okay. In our company, the best survive, the ones that create it as a lifestyle and the culture, and they want to be here and they want to move up and they want to succeed. They will have ownership in this company. They will have stock gain share or IPO. It will have a life-changing event. For those that it's just a job and clock out, they'll be weeded out. They'll be dragging, they'll be holding people back, and those leaders will continue to churn and burn. I'm a believer in that. But bad habits, when you allow it, when you allow yourself as a manager, as a director, as a regional, as a project manager, as an assistant manager, I don't care if you're working at McDonald's. I don't care if you're working at the post office. When you're a manager and your people aren't empowered to be successful for you, there's a problem. If they're not being successful for the brand, there's a problem. They're not being successful for themselves, there's a problem. They're making excuses and they've got bad habits. And the only way to change that is hold them accountable and make an example. And when you do that, other people get noticed and go, damn, I can't get away with that. I need to care more. Now, I don't want people to work out of fear. People always say, you want fear, you want respect. Look, I want to empower our employees to do everything they can, what's best for the customer and what's best for our brand. Not me, not you, not themselves. The customer, the brand, because the brand is all 1,600 plus employees. But I also want there to be consequences if there's laziness, if there's integrity issues, if there's incompetent issues. People make mistakes. We learn from failure. We're supposed to make a mistake. Try not to make the same mistake twice. But you're allowed to make mistakes. And we can train skill sets, and we can train people to put in solar. We can train people to sell solar. We can train people to talk on a phone. We can't train what's inside. We can't train their effort. We can't train their laziness or lack thereof. We can't train that stuff. So that stuff needs to be exposed. It's bad milk, guys. Throw that shit away, right? and find somebody else. That's just how I feel, right? Wrong, right, or indifferent. I'm never going to change. That's how I feel, because there's too many times, especially for almost 2 years of me not getting a paycheck and me looking at people and all of us struggling because just a few that weren't doing their job. And I'm just a believer of, I don't want a few to slow everybody down. That's not fair. It's not my job as a leader. My job as a leader is to make sure that we have everybody doing what they're supposed to be doing to be successful. And, bad habits are, as leaders, as they get lazy as a manager, or they get intimidated, or they don't want to just be a bad manager. You don't have to be a bad manager. You can be very calm. I'm a passionate, loud, obnoxious dude, but I could be like,
you're a
hey,
passionate,
John.
Loud, obnoxious dude.
That's right. I could be like, hey, John, you're not doing your job right now. I'm going to write you up, and I'm going to expect you to do better next week, because we're all doing our job and everybody's going to be accountable. Thanks. I could be cool like that, or I could be like, dude, why aren't you doing your job? Like, what is it? What's going on? You got something going on at home? What's up? Why are your numbers that bad? And then when you start to make excuses, I go, oh, hell no. Life's like a golf course, baby. We all got the bunker and the water. You can't no. You're not allowed to make excuses. What do we got to do to get better? And that's what we challenge our leaders to do. And bad habits, man, you got to break them.
Yeah, I mean, tying that in, like, so when are your moments of mindfulness? Like, so you had brought up like the director's call, or maybe areas where you go off, right? You get excited. So are you mindful?
I get excited.
You get excited. Can I just put it that way? Do I?
Yeah, put it any way you want. This isn't a PG-13 podcast. Say whatever you want.
You flip the fuck out, right? Warranted.
There you go.
Yeah. Warranted, right? I always say this. I think we've talked about this before, right? But we've got this. You relate your business to your baby, right? But in this baby almost died in 2015, and you revived it. Yeah. So sometimes I even tell our new hire classes, like, look, Jayson is passionate about this because this ship almost sank in 2015. And he was able to revive it, and he does not want to sniff anything out where it's going to go in that direction again. So we have to go up, and there's no other way to go about it. But are you mindful about these periods where, what do you say? Like, what do you self reflect on, or what do you, maybe it's some self talk that you go through on these moments, and how do you coach yourself through it?
So I'm still learning as a communicator on how to get the message out. I'm told by my closest friends, family, spouse, that my delivery sometimes is wrong. Message is clear, delivery is wrong. I'm no better than anybody else. I have my own issues. One of those is my delivery, right? I go from 1 to 10. There's no 4, there's no 6, there's no 7 or 8 or 9. It's 1, 2, up, 10, or as you call excited. I'm working on that. Of course, I have self-reflection of how can I get better? How can I train myself to be better and break that bad habit of blowing off the handle? I'm working on it every time. There was a time every director's call, I was blowing off the handle. Like, dude, what are you doing? Why aren't you doing your job? Why don't you care as much as these other 9 directors, and we have to keep talking to you? That gets frustrating. You're right. It is like a kid. And, I'm a grandpa now. I love it. But with grandkids, my dad told me this. He said, there's a different love for your grandkids than kids. And the love isn't more or less. It's different. With your kids, you love them, but you get disappointed. You get frustrated. They push the envelope. They challenge you. They go against the grain and rebel against you and purposely not listen sometimes. That's what we deal with as parents, right? So you're like, this kid is fucking pissing me off right now. What the fuck? I'm mad now. What are you doing? Right? I get that way. I'm straight to that's how I get. With your grandkids, it's a little different. It's like, she can't piss me off. She's not mine. I don't have to deal with her breaking rules. I just get to love her. I just get the pluses, right? Oh, you pooped? Hold on. Hey, she pooped, right? It's different, but you love them the same, but different. With a business, as an entrepreneur, and all the entrepreneurs out there know, and even as a manager who loves your team, or a coach who's coaching a team, all these feelings are similar. You get disappointed. You get frustrated. You feel like, why are you holding the rest of us back because of something that's self-indulged, right? Not some external problem, but like, this is something that can be fixed. So frustration kicks in. How I deliver that frustration is what I'm working on. Sometimes my delivery is okay. Most of the time, it's a little excited. And every now and then, it's overly excited. And I try to play to the audience really well who I'm dealing with. You know, how I did the install meeting today is not how I would do a sales meeting, is not how I would do a customer service meeting. I try to play well. You know, when I did the Senate, when I had to testify into the Senate, I mean, you're not going to hear me dropping F bombs, right? So you have to know your audience, but I want to get the point across. And I'm never going to apologize for being passionate about something. And Ben said it today very well. You know, he came in as I was lighting it up like, guys, why are you doing this? And why are you doing that? You should be ashamed. Look at this. Some of you guys aren't hitting your bonus because you're not doing your job. And those in the green, high five, you're doing your job. Learn something from them. Don't make excuses. And I go all the whole thing, right? Ben jumps in, which was great, and explain to them it's my passion that I care about, kind of what you just mentioned. This is my baby, you know, but this is our baby, right? It was my baby, but you guys have all adopted this baby. It's our baby. I want people to give a shit as much as I give a shit. And that's unrealistic. I understand that, but damn it, I'm going to push it so they get as close to that as possible. Because if they do that, then they're going to care enough to get the right stuff done. Now, with that, Ben mentioned sometimes you've got to learn to push. Sometimes you got to learn to pull, and sometimes you got to learn to kick, right? And so that's true. And depending on the audience or the situation is when, you know, you got to decide how you're going to handle something. Is it a pat on the butt? Like, hey, you got this. Is it, dude, what is your problem? And calling them out. What is it? And each situation is different. I am not perfect. I sometimes pick the wrong one. I do it with my kids. I do it in work. I sometimes pick the wrong one. And I do. It's a bad habit. I have to learn to breathe, be more calm, be more effective. That's something I'm working on every single day. It's one of my deficiencies. I know I'm like, oh, shoot, I wish I wouldn't have bit that person's head off or chewed them a new one so early on. But I think the people that work for us and that understand and that are a part of this movement, I think that they know I have their best interest. Like it's our family, like it's our kid. And you're like, hey, you got to do better. You know, your grades are shitty, dude. You got to do better. You can't half-ass do this anymore. You've got to do better. And that's what it feels like.
Yeah, I think for the listeners and viewers out there too, on the other side of it, right? It's just like, you know, sports or teachers, or you're gonna have people come down on you, and it's sometimes looked down upon in the business world, but it's the same thing. So you have to, as a student, as a player, as a peer or coworker, you have to respect the other person's position. And I have to understand where Jayson Waller's coming from. Like the sooner I do that, when you get irate, the more I'm gonna be like, oh, that makes sense. That's who he is, and this is how I need to respond to that. So on the other side, we can't just expect the delivery or the deliverer to change. We have to understand how that message is coming and who it's coming from, and it's okay. It's okay to have critical, crucial, high emotional conversations because it usually leads to massive action. So I just had to throw
that. That's well said. And I think with the team and the support team that we've built with the executives, everybody helps one another. If I feel, you know, am I between the buoys? You know, I lean to Steve Murphy for wisdom, right? I lean to Ben. You know, I ask Ben, hey, what could I have done better? Ben's we deliver on a different level, right? Not one's better than the other, but I feel like my delivery will be more impactful, good and bad, right? We'll have some extra, you know, things to pick up. Some dominoes might fall we didn't want to fall, but damn it, they're going to move the way we need them to move. That's my delivery. With Ben's, it's more tactical, less movement, but more tactical. And I admire that in him. And I pick his brain and I listen to what he thinks I may or should have said. And I appreciate that. But on the other token, he calls me and says, what should I have done? And I'm like, hey, I would have approached it a little harder on this to get this information and not be wasteful, you know, dancing around things. So it is beneficial to have smart people that are different than you around you. And, you know, with Kevin, he's a positive dude. House is on fire. Hey, shit, my house is on fire, dude. And he smiles. That's what I love about him. But he makes me feel better about things. And every now and then he gets antsy and aggravated and he jumps off the deep end. I'm like, dude, calm down. So we all have our moments. We're all people. right? We're all living in this world trying to find our way. And, the more that we understand we're all different, but we can all work together, the easier life will be. And I think that, I'm trying to get that more, especially with the executives. And as we grow, we'll have other, we're going to keep growing, and there's going to be other people involved in the circles. And I'm looking forward to it. I love building new relationships. I love, getting to know people and learning. I try to learn from anybody and everybody I can. Every single conversation I have, I try to learn from them.
Yeah, you've really built a pretty powerful network. I mean, not only amongst the executive team, right? And I think you guys all complement each other really well, but even outside, and it's led to some pretty cool opportunities that I don't know if you saw coming or anticipated, or I don't know if that was strategic, but maybe talk about that a little bit, right? So, like, one, to help better you and maybe help change habits that you're working on and be mindful, but also those people that you surround yourself leading to some incredible opportunities.
I think, and I said it in today's install meeting, if you think you know everything and you don't need to ask for help, then you're not a true leader. Everybody needs guidance. Everybody needs help. Everybody needs a coach. Everybody's got more to learn. That's true leadership. Asking for help when you need it, looking around, acquiring that information to be more effective and better. I have a coach. I have a CEO coach in Brian Elias. He ran a successful business, 1-800 Hanson's. He did the windows and siding. He did very well, sold his company, made like $80 million. We met on a whim at the gym. He was talking shit about my car. He came in kind of, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, yeah. We start talking. He asks who I am. I tell him. He's like, oh, I think I've seen the commercial. I'm like, okay, or whatever. Or he's seen the signs. And, he talks about his business. He's like, you ever heard of 1-800 Hanson's? I said, no. You never heard of it? No. You ever seen me on TV? No. But I didn't. I was from North Carolina. I didn't know who he was. I think he liked that. And we ended up hitting it off. And he's my CEO coach. Love the guy. He's very smart. He helps me understand some things. He's very sales oriented, very back to the basics type of dude. Right. And then, other relationships I've built here in Michigan. I've got, Dino and Sus, on our marketing team, which, Sus is an older version of, he says myself, but I don't know about that, but he's a firecracker and a fireball, and he's a genius in his ideas. And then Dino, both of those guys, anybody that has, that is older than me or has life experiences that I don't have, I want to utilize wisdom. I want to ask them their story. I want to ask them when I'm struggling. I'm not the type. I mean, we all go through issues. I've recently had some up and downs at home, and it is what it is, right? Things are good, but you have problems. And I'm not the type that goes, hey man, like, I'm all alone right now. You want to come do dinner and talk to me? I'm not that person. Maybe I should be. I'm not. I kind of sit and deal with it myself. I'm kind of a vault. Like, I don't like to impose, hey, John, you want to come do dinner with me? Me and the wife are fighting and she goes out of town. Can you come hang out with me? I would never do that. I'm not built that way. I wouldn't do it. But those that know me, that know maybe some shit's going on sometimes in life, like Dino, he's been married a couple times. People say, you don't want to take advice from that guy. I'd say, actually, I do, because he can tell me where he failed and learned, right? You don't want to take advice from the guy that's been married forever and doesn't know what a failure's like. You want to take advice, if it's a marriage thing, who's failed and learned. And so he gave some good advice and understood some stuff. And, I look to people like that on a personal level and a business level. Jay Feldman's a very successful car dealership guy here that I learned from him. We talk, and he's built his business up, and he's got some relationships that are, he's best friends with Mark Wahlberg, and he does a lot of cool things with him. And, I think when I meet people, I like people that are real, and I like to hang out with people that are real. And it doesn't matter if they make $50 a day or 50,000 a day. They're real, and they can be real, and I can benefit to them somehow, and they can benefit to me somehow. And that's building a relationship. That's networking the correct way. I don't leverage my company on anybody like, hey, this is what we're going to do. I don't network that way. Although it's in the back of my mind, if I can help them out and help our business out, I want to be able to do that. But I'm also networking and building friends for myself. How do I get better? And I don't get better by just failing and learning. I get better by asking questions. I get better by learning from other people. And, different people from different walks of life teach me things all the time. There's a guy, Nino, that owns Bella Piatti right here in Birmingham. Love the guy, older Italian guy. He just got me some shoes from Italy. I was like, dude, you didn't have to do that. I told him me and my wife loved the shoes he had. He ordered me a pair, dude. They were handmade. I'm like, whoa. But any chance I get to go eat at his restaurant, check it out, it's in Birmingham in front of Townsend, it's the best, right? He's one of the best human beings I've ever met. I've only known him like 6 months. He's such a good dude. I've learned so much from him. I'll go in there and have dinner. Me and my wife will come sit with us, or I'll go in there with a friend, or I even went in there by myself not too long ago. He comes and sits and talks to me. You always want to learn from people. You don't know people's stories, but everybody's got something to offer this world. And I try to soak up anything I can learn from people, and then I try to give back. That's why I love this podcast. That's why I'm going to write this book. That's why I'm going to do all these things to really give back. Any stories or lessons or tips that I can help one person, then I feel like I made a difference.
Love it. Give back at our holiday party too.
Yeah, dude, so at our holiday party, we're going to give out a ton of money. Usually our Christmas parties or holiday parties, we spend a lot of money on because there's 1,600 people, 3 parties we would do. We're going to give back over $100,000 to the employees. One winner for $25,000, 5 for $10,000, the rest of $2,500. It's going to be game changing. It's going to be a lot of tears of joy for people, and it's random who's picked. They've got to be on. So that's exciting stuff. And the other thing on the relationship part. I'm getting ready to do I had the podcast, when things lead down rabbit holes, you got to ride the horse as far as you can. And you can't be scared to take a chance. So we got Power Home Solar booming. True Underdog podcast is booming, trying to build a brand to tie the two together, which is the Jayson Waller brand.
And you guys are, it's 32. Did I see 32?
So last week we were 32 on the Chartable for Business and Motivational Podcasts in the U.S. We were jacked about that. Yeah.
When did it start?
January.
Damn, that's wild.
That was downloaded that week. That's not overall, but downloaded that week. We were 32nd in the country.
Yeah, still.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. We were jacked up about that. We've got a new team out there, Young and Profiting Podcast, that has helped us out, Hala and her team. We've done some different things. So it's been great and lucrative, but also getting ready to do I had David Meltzer. He's the original Jerry Maguire. That show comes out next week. That's who the movie was about. I had him on the show last week. We hit it off good. He's got a TV show called 60 Second Pitch, and he's starting a new TV show called 2 Minute Drill, where entrepreneurs can come in for 2 minutes and pitch their product and get judges to pick a winner, and then they get money for their business. I get to be a judge on 3 of the shows, and I get to do the tip of the day. So super excited about that and that opportunity to be on there and tell my story, talk about Power Home, talk about True Underdog, and help other entrepreneurs out there and get in there to the nit and gritty and be a judge. It'll be fun. That comes out on Bloomberg TV like February or March.
So how many judges are there?
I didn't ask that question. It's a great question. I don't know.
So kind of like almost like a Shark Tank type of.
Very, very similar to Shark Tank. It is similar to that. They pick one winner. Shark Tank, you want to invest, you don't want to invest. And anytime you do reality TV shows like that, there's a lot of fakeness to them that you don't realize, right? So we were on Military Makeover, where we paid, partially for the Military Makeover show, and we gave panels to the veteran, which was a great cause. But there was only a few million people that saw that episode. It was HGTV and Lifetime, and it was during the day. This will be on Bloomberg TV and Amazon Prime and Amazon On Demand. And they're saying over 90 million people will eventually see these episodes, right? So Power Home's going to have some commercials on there. I'll get to be, I told you, judge in 3 of them. And then all 12 episodes, I'll give the tip of the day for the competition. How are you going to outdo your competition? I'll be giving a tip. So I get to fly to Cali here in a few weeks, film that, and then film our Super Bowl.
Is that all filmed at one time?
Yes. That's how they're all done.
12 winners in that period of time.
I'll be there for 3 of them. Yeah, they're going to film. They have 3 days of filming to do 12 episodes. I'll be there 2 days to do my 3. So mine might be like episode 1, 4, and 9. I don't know, right? Yeah. But I'll be there for 3 episodes, and I know nothing about it. I don't know any of the guests coming or the contestants. But that's how they do these shows. They film them all up front and then they air them. Right? They don't go, unless it's like American Idol and it's live every week. It's not like that. Like they film these shows and then they stick them out there. The other thing that's really cool is right after that, we're going to do the commercial for Power Home Solar, the new commercial with the new anthem. I can't tell anybody what it is, but we're going to film that commercial in Georgia the first week of December. So a lot of cool things coming down the pipe that's going to be exciting, and to benefit not only our business and our employees, but our brand, but also the podcast and giving back. And I'm excited to help and give tips to any entrepreneurs out there.
Do you know your first tip that you're going to give?
No, I got to see what everything's about first. I mean, I want it to be real and raw, baby. I don't know. I mean,
2 minutes to do a full business pitch, and then it's decision time after that. It doesn't seem like a very long time.
2-minute drill, baby. 2-minute drill. That's what's called.
Q&A. It's just pitch and that's it.
I don't know the details yet, so I don't want you to hold me to it. I know it's on Bloomberg TV. I know it's on Amazon, and I know that it comes out in February or March. I'll have more of the details. I'll share with you, John. So to answer your mind, hey, how does this work? But David Meltzer is the one running it. He's the executive producer. He is the original Jerry Maguire. He built up to 120 million in assets at 30 years old, lost it all, and then came back.
What?
Yeah, his story's great. His episode comes out next week. It's great. So he's got a great story. He's kind of helping me with my book. I've got a couple of the guests on there helping me in my book and guide me the right way, but super jacked.
Is the book started?
I have a thing that the computer's sitting on says your book starts here, and it's from Scribe Media. And it's this whole pipeline, and they gave me a pen, and I don't like to write. So I've got to interview with people and tell them my story and say, are you ready? Okay, go. And then I'm going to talk, blah, 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 and then one day there was this, and then this is what happened. And then my goodness, this happened. And then here's what, and then, all right, read it back to me. Yep. That sounds good. Like I'm thinking that's how it goes. We're going to find out.
Yeah. You just need to record like a voice recorder, and then someone's going to have to go back through
8 weeks worth of interviews. So it's like one day for 4 hours a day every week. So it's going to be like 40 hours worth of interviews. We should be good. And then their whole point of writing a book that I'm learning is the North Star. And what that means is, what are you going to write your book about? Because like I could come up with all kinds of stuff and a book be this big, right? How are you going to carry a book around this big? So it's like, how do we zoom it to the first book to be like that? Right? Because I got this much stuff I feel like I can share, but we'll do it here. And then this is where we start. And then, to be continued is the goal.
Do you have did you think about titles at all yet?
No, I have a couple that are in my head, but I have no idea. You go through a whole seminar. Like first you talk to your author and your project manager, and then your publisher, and then you're going through interviews, and then you go through title ideas and graphic design and like all these things. I have no idea. Bam, build a movement, become a millionaire. I don't know.
I mean, I guess the options are open, right? But that'd be like the one thing that would consume my mind is the titles. Like you're having a kid and you just want to get a name for it, right?
It is. All of it is consumed me a little bit thinking about it. But they said trust the system. I'm going to trust the system.
Is there any like staples that you want to put in the book for sure? Or you're just all over the place right now?
I'm all over the place right now. No elevator. Take the steps. That's one of my favorite ones. That's mine. I don't know.
Right.
It'll be exciting.
It will be. I remember the first interaction I had with you. I was like, dude, you have got to write a book.
You said that. Yep. You were like one of like 60 people. Told me that.
I'm sure everyone says it, right?
And I always go, dude, I don't know. I don't even read books.
I was like, you don't have to write a book, but someone needs to write a book.
We should do reality TV. I just don't want my family to go through that. My family is chaotic, dude. I've got one last story to end this episode, so we have a little fun. So, and maybe you know this, at the Halloween party, my 16-year-old, and sorry, Kenzie, that I'm sharing this story. So my 16-year-old is here, and she has a couple of her friends here, and she goes to a neighbor's party. So she drives over there with her girlfriend, her other girlfriend, and she goes to another friend who's a neighbor's party. Well, my 22-year-old, who's a mom, is in town, and she's pregnant. And my mom and my wife are all like, what is Kenzie doing? So my wife tells them to go spy on Mackenzie at the party. Stay with me. So my mom drives them. I don't know what's going on. I'm over there mingling. You're at the party with me. I saw you. I was talking to Rick. I was talking to, whatever, Matt, whatever. I was hanging out. And I go over. My dad says, hey, I said, hey, what's going on? And he said, your mom, which is my mom, which is my daughter's grandma, and your daughter, Hannah, went to go spy and crash the party where Mackenzie's at. And I said, what? So I go to my wife, like, what are you guys doing? She's like, it's fine. I said, it's not fine. It's wrong. Like, give the kid some slack. Let her, it's fine. What if she drinks and drives? I said, Liz, she's 2 blocks away. You got to have some faith and trust people, dude. Relax. You just don't care. No, you care too much. I don't need to care. Calm down. So I'm like, this is a little aggravating. Let's see what happens. Hannah, my 22-year-old, shows up 45 minutes later. She's laughing. I'm like, what happened? So now I'm going to play Hannah in this story. Hannah says, quote, I'm Hannah. So me and Grandma pull up and I'm like, I'm going into the party, Grandma. And Grandma goes, okay. And Hannah had on a black dress with a black haired wig, with a mask and glasses. So you can't tell it's her. And she tells my mom, Grandma, I'm going in. I'm going to mingle with these kids and make sure Kenzie's not drinking. Now, Hannah's all of 5'2". Kenzie's 5'6". So Hannah can fit in pretty easily, right? So she walks into this house, into this party. They let her in. She's bebopping and mingling away. Right when she gets to the basement, an underage girl hands her a White Claw and says, here you go. And Hannah goes, I'm good. And Hannah's dancing. Now, take in mind, Hannah hated high school. So it's important that you know this in the story. Hated high school. Didn't have a lot of friends, didn't like a lot of people. She's social anxiety. She just didn't like high school very much. So here she is in her younger sister's junior and senior Halloween party that she's at. She decides they're jamming. She just starts dancing. She's hanging out and dancing with these kids. She's got this wig on. She's got these glasses on. She's got this mask on, this dress on. Nobody knows it's her. She's dancing and hanging out. And she sees Mackenzie in the corner of her eye. And she's like, Dad, I'm bebopping. I'm dancing. I'm making friends, Dad. I'm in the party and I'm making friends. And I'm like, what? And she's like, and this girl comes up to me and goes, oh my gosh, who are you? And Hannah goes, I'm Jessica Frances. She goes, oh my gosh, you're in my Spanish class. And Hannah goes, yes. And they start dancing. Hannah's still covered. You can't see her face. You can't make this shit up. So then the girl's dancing and she goes, what are you? And Hannah goes, I'm COVID. She's like, oh my gosh, you're the vibe of the party. And Hannah goes, oh my gosh. She's like, Dad, I was making friends. I'm like, oh my gosh. She says, another girl comes over and goes, oh my gosh, what is she? And the girl goes, Hannah goes, I'm COVID. And the other girl goes, no, she's death. And they're like, oh my gosh. And they're laughing and dancing, and Hannah's dancing with them. In the meantime, while this is going on, another girl goes to my 16-year-old. Do you see that weirdo in that black dress? My daughter goes, Mackenzie goes, yeah, she's weird. Who is she? The other girl goes, I don't know. What if she's a narc or a snitch? Those girls think they know her. I don't think we know her. So Kenzie, not knowing this is Hannah, takes her phone and starts to, what is it called? It's Snapchat. Starts to Snapchat and says this weirdo at the party. And she's Snapchatting this weirdo behind her at the party. Like, what is wrong with this weirdo, right? It's her sister. She doesn't know. All of a sudden, some big burly dude comes up to Hannah and starts dancing behind her. And she's like, ah. He's like, hey. She said, I'm pregnant. He goes, oh. She's like, I was like, Hannah's like, I'm making friends. And this guy was gross. He wanted to dance with me. I'm pregnant. Like, he thinks you're in high school. You're not I know, but I'm just trying to make friends. All of a sudden, Kenzie kind of looks over and sees a little tattoo on Hannah's hand.
Oh.
And then looks down at her feet. You want to come tell the story too or no? Kenzie's watching me through the door. And then Kenzie looks and sees her slippers and grabs Hannah by the arm and goes, what are you doing here? And Hannah goes, I'm making friends. And Kenzie goes, you need to leave. And Hannah goes, let me smell your breath. And so Hannah goes, or Kinsey goes, and then Hannah goes, okay, I'm leaving. Kinsey's like, leave now. And so she left. So she showed up and she's telling us this story. About that time, Kinsey walks in pissed off. And Hannah's like, I don't know why you're mad. I was just trying to make friends. And Kinsey's like, no, you weren't. And it's one of the funniest stories we've ever heard. And Hannah's like, right now, Jessica Frances is trending right now on Twitter, Dad. Look, she's making friends here at Home, blah, blah, blah. And Kenzie's like, I'm just over it. So we all got a good laugh out of it. But also I know she felt like, we were controlling. And the party got broken up like 30 minutes later by police. Not because of us, but, it did happen. That's the funny story to end the show. Isn't that great?
That is funny. That's funny.
Mackenzie just looked at my door, like laughing, like, I can't believe you're sharing that. It pissed her off, but it's a funny story.
That she didn't know it was her sister.
She had no idea. And the worst thing is Hannah was in there because she's a mom. She's pregnant. She's engaged. She has no life. She sits at home. She's in there with high school kids living her best life. Like, yeah, get it. Woo! Right? She was like, I'm making friends and living my best life.
Yeah, a little like old school, right?
Yeah, a little loose, man. She's feeling good until she gets popped.
Oh, that's great. Good story.
Isn't that a great story? That's a good story. I shared that yesterday too. It's a funny story. So, hey, that's all we've got in today's Underdog, True Underdog episode. Underdog Bites, Breaking Bad Habits. John LeBlanc, we appreciate you. Check us out on YouTube, iHeart, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or CastBox. Bam! That concludes another episode here on True Underdog. If you're interested in hearing more, make sure you subscribe at iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or the YouTube channel. You can always visit TrueUnderdog.com, subscribe to all of them. Make sure you check out our newest episodes coming out on Mondays and Thursdays. True Underdog, baby. Bam!